I've watched your videos, not all of them, but I've seen a bunch of them. And you always wear like a nice bright shirt. You always have your Marshal's badge on, right?
Yeah, it's a miniature U.S. Marshal's badge.
And your 10-gallon hat.
Yes, and I have my cowboy hat. Mm-hmm. And because I like my Western roots.
Yeah.
I like the idea that, the Western men kind of grow up with this code of honor that is desperately needed all across this nation today. So
really,
that's one reason why I kind of chose that persona for these videos. Mm-hmm. And
so how did it start? What was the actual very beginning? I mean, did you just went to a park and just decided, okay, well, I got something on my mind, and you just read a script, or how did you do it?
I typed up a script and made it big enough for me to read, and my buddy held it behind the camera so I wouldn't forget anything.
Right.
And it was back when they were, the media was tearing Sarah Palin to pieces.
Right.
So I think the very first video I did was called Sarah Palin Wives. And I just surmised about what it would be like if every man in America was married to a woman like Sarah Palin.
Oh, man, in my dreams.
Intelligent, smart, fun, and
drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah. And I ended up by saying, "Dear Santa, please bring us 900,000 Sarah Palins, one for every single man in America. Mm-hmm. And while you're at it, please drop Joy Behar off in Saudi Arabia." Thank you. And
that's great. That's great.
So I got enough people watching the videos to come back, and it just kind of took off from there.
Now you've got a website. Would you care to share everybody your website address?
www.wildbillforamerica.com.
That's easy to remember. Yeah.
Yeah, just about 150 videos loaded up now, and 3.6 million views. And,
nice.
More coming. So I do believe I'm making an impact.
I'd say so. Yeah. I mean, I've been watching them. I don't know. All right. So you've been doing this pretty much ever since. Would you say that you're retired as far as like the other vocations that you've held?
Yeah, I'm doing security work here in Daytona to pay the bills, and
okay.
I'm hoping to pick up some sponsors for these Wild Bill videos so that I can make videos full time.
Right.
There's a lot of liberals out there need their backsides kicked, and I'm ready to do it full time if I can get somebody to fund these Wild Bill videos for me.
Oh, I like the idea of that. So if they want to do that, all they do is go to wildbillforamerica.com, and they can get in contact with you through that, right?
Yeah, and I'm thinking about taking some advertising. The videos get tens of thousands of views, so there might be somebody that wants to put their product on there. It's time for me to start thinking funding if I'm going to keep this going.
Absolutely. I'm a capitalist. I think you should make as much money as you possibly can make. Absolutely do that.
Yeah. And I will use the money wisely.
I'm glad to hear that, because if you were using it unwisely, I'd feel bad. Yeah. All right, so you're making the films, and of course this week has been, in my opinion, an outrageous week in news, especially with our government. The greatest, the biggest power grab ever attempted by a seated POTUS in the history of the United States, and the audacity of this guy threatening our judges. Unbelievable behavior. Have you had any thoughts about what's going on this week, Bill?
About Chicago-style politics?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see a skinny little tyrant in the White House who's on the verge of panicking because the only thing that he's accomplished is about to go down the toilet.
Yeah, thank God.
If Obamacare goes down, he will have nothing that he can point his finger at and say success.
Yeah. I mean, this past 3 years have just been an absolute nightmare for our country.
It has.
Yeah.
It's been an all-out attack on our economy and our freedoms.
What do you think that's all about, Bill? What do you think the root problem is? And you see, I subscribe to Chuck Missler's take on it. Chuck Missler said 2008, the United States of America flunked its IQ test. And they did not do the homework on this guy. Nobody knew anything about him. To this day, you cannot go back and talk to a school teacher where he attended grade school or junior high or senior high. You cannot talk to anybody. These records are sealed and he will not open them. There's no information available about him. We don't know anything about this guy and yet we were sold a bill of goods. Now, I, of course, did not vote for him. And I was not, I'll be honest with you, I was not thrilled about John McCain being the President of the United States, but it was a heck of a lot better than what I perceived to be this guy that nobody knew anything about. But with him having Sarah Palin on the ticket, I was all in. Sarah she was the clincher for me. Because I figured if John dropped dead from a heart attack, and not that I would ever wish him any harm or anything, I have no animosity against him. I just didn't care for the fact that he's just always been a maverick, and he likes that, and I don't like that. I like guys that say that they're conservative and do what a conservative does. Say, I don't know, Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
But you don't hear that hardly anymore, any from anybody anymore, except for I don't know. I think Rick Santorum has got conservatism integrated. I don't think it's something he has to learn. I think it's something he already knows. But that's just me. But what do you see as the fundamental problem with this country in electing somebody like Barack Obama to be president?
Well, the problem is Christians and conservatives have kept their mouths shut for way too long. Frankly, Mark, we have been far too nice in this country.
You can say that again.
Yeah, no more Christian nice guy. That's the name of a book that I recently read. I can't remember the author, but anyway, it's time for us to stand up and say, that's enough, you people. You lunatics, back in the asylum where you belong. We need to clean them out of our grade schools, out of our universities, out of the legislature. We need to clean up Hollywood. This political correctness, this poison has been spreading, and conservatives have just been saying, oh, well, I guess it's their right to say and do such disgusting things.
Oh, hooey.
We should have been standing against them all the time.
Joe McCarthy was right, by the way.
Yes, he was.
He was. It took, it's a shame, too, because like all those years, decades went by, and people thought he was a nutbag. He was paranoid and all this stuff. He was right. He was absolutely right. The guy was at the end of his congressional hearings and stuff. Everybody was calling him names. He's a lunatic and all this stuff, and he kind of passed off into obscurity and never to be heard from again. And it took all this time to prove that the guy was right all along. Yeah.
Joe McCarthy got the Sarah Palin treatment way back when.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Yeah, you got besmirched by the media, and once you get besmirched by the media, and of course they besmirch anybody who isn't a liberal, supposedly that's it. I say no. That's not it. I say if you bend to the liberals, you will become one. You are one. If you stay conservative and you stay with conservative values, then that's the kind of people I'm going to vote for. I'm not going. I don't want wishy-washy. I'm sick to death of wishy-washy politicians. I can't stand them.
Right. Conservatism wins every time it's tried.
Exactly.
But the problem I see, Mark, is that the media is more afraid, or our politicians are more afraid of the media than they are of the voters.
And that's a problem, isn't it?
Well, that's a problem we can fix. And with the rise of the Tea Party and groups like that, the politicians are starting to wake up and pay attention.
Right.
And with the rise of the new media, like what you do, the mainstream media, the left-wing poison media, is losing ground rapidly. So I see a lot of reasons for us to be enthusiastic about the future of this country.
I agree. Now, you're involved in an upcoming event. You and Wild Bill version 2.0. You care to tell everybody about that?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to be a part of that or not. It's still up in the air.
Is that right? I thought you were locked in.
We're hoping it'll come together. I don't have the information on it yet. There is another project that I may be involved in soon. It's called the America Day Tour.
Oh yeah.
And the big corporations are putting buku money into some RVs that are going to be airbrushed with scenes of American history and our Christian heritage. And I've been asked to manage the road show as these tour the lower 48.
Really?
Visiting all towns, big cities and little towns, and stopping at radio stations and and so on to educate people about pride in America.
How about that?
And how God was involved in the founding of our country. America needs a wake-up call, and this might be a good way to do it.
Right. Yeah. Well, the other rally I was referring to was the Rally for Common Sense is coming up, and Bill Lumen, you've been invited to that also, right?
Yes, sir. It's on May 19th. It's Jefferson City, Missouri. We're trying to. I guess Kim Paris is the one that originally and is still organizing the event. And I think she's trying to scramble the money together. They're selling tickets, and the tickets are starting to actually run out.
I got mine.
Yeah, you're one of the people that bought one. But I think she's trying to get the money together to lock Wild Bill in, and she wants her vision is for he and I to share a stage and director's chairs and do somewhat of a Q&A.
That sounds excellent. Yeah, by the way, Kim Parris will be joining us next Friday night here on Loving, Caring, and Sharing. So make sure you guys tune in next week and find out all the more details. I'm going to do the same thing I do with Kim as I do with everybody. We're going to do bio on her. She's got a very fascinating background, by the way. And Bill was talking with me on. I called you up, I guess it was a week ago or so, and we got talking. You started telling me about this, Rally for Common Sense, and I said, yeah, I'd seen the postings for it and stuff, but I didn't know what it was about. And he said, well, he explained it to me, and he said, it's $10 for a ticket. And I thought, $10? I can swing $10. All right, I'll buy a ticket. And by faith, I'm going to believe that God's going to provide a way of me getting out there. I have no idea how I'm going to get out there, but I got a ticket, and I'm going to see what happens. So, Bill, if you do this. What's it called again? The tour for what?
This will be the America Day tour. We're trying to establish a precedent where patriotic Americans consider the first day of the month to be America Day, and they do something special with their family to remember the values and principles of America every month. Do something. And and plus, calling people back to faith in God, the faith of our fathers, and establishing pride in America. Now these two things are what the liberal left attack more than anything else in this country. Faith in God and pride in what America stands for. And I think it's because they know that those two things have the ability to totally destroy the liberal agenda. Yeah. So that's why we are fighting so hard to establish those two things. God and country is our rallying call.
Now, who is it that's behind all this? Who are the people that are doing this?
Well, I met up with a few people at the Tea Party convention in Daytona in November. I emceed that. Right. And, I can't tell names right now, but it's some of the top corporations in America who have pledged millions of dollars for this tour.
Outstanding.
And it sounds like things are coming together.
Excellent. Well, listen, I really appreciate you fighting your way through this bronchitis and talking your head off for me tonight. I know this is a strain for you. Well, I guess one of the things that I'd also like to just get into is like, what's the vision that you see for our country, Bill?
Well, it depends on if the game goes into overtime in November.
Now, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by overtime?
If Barack Obama gets reelected to another term, which I think is a long shot, but if it happens, as far as I'm concerned, that's just a signal that this game is going into overtime. Right. And that's when the battle will really kick into gear. Now, my mission in life is to encourage patriotic Americans to never get discouraged. We are the good guys, and eventually we will win this battle because we know who's on our side. And I actually have to scold conservatives every once in a while because they get into this, it's hopeless mentality, and I don't allow that. So anyway, I think we will win in November. We will evict Obama and hopefully restore honor to the White House. But even if we don't, some of the best games I've ever seen were games that went into overtime.
Yeah, no kidding. And it's worth it, too.
Yeah.
It really is.
And that might be what it takes to finally wake up all of the conservative Americans in this country.
Yeah,
there's still not enough of us getting into the game. Too many people are still sitting on the sidelines.
I agree. Yeah, I tell you what, I wonder sometimes if God didn't give us Barack Obama to get people to drop to their knees.
Or as judgment.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to be back shortly. Again, for those of you listening, you can go to Wild Bill's website, which is wildbillforamerica.com. And do you accept donations, Bill, for what you do? Do you have like a donate page?
I'm not really set up for donations at this time.
Okay. All right, just curious. I'll tell you what, though. North Star Radio does have a donate button, so if you guys want to help out, you can always donate $5, $10, $20 to maintain North Star Radio to continue to give you commercial-free music and the programming that you're enjoying listening.